actually, I have a query. What if artificial intelligence rules this world and the teachers are like robots who are artificial intelligence? Then the bond of teacher and student, how it works?
Okay. Isaac Asimov's futuristic predictions. Every profession is taken by robots, except one profession. Do you know which profession? Teaching. So I think there are two parts to your question. First question is, will the AI take over the world? And if that happens, how will be the bond between the teachers and the students, right? So as I told you, first part is basically even in predictions, teaching profession doesn't go to the robots, number one. And in a very hypothetical situation, if it goes to the robot, see, bonding between people are emotional, correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
There are different experiments that is happening in the world about understanding the emotional quotient, how emotional quotient can be developed in robots. And it does not currently do any success, but it doesn't mean that it will not be successful also. So people at one time get emotionally attached to many materialistic objects, and it normally happens with people in multiple form. For example, people get very attached to their cars, correct? Emotionally attached to their cars. Sometimes get emotionally attached to the different kind of toys. This has been seen in your childhood also, right? Likewise, emotional attachment doesn't have any boundary about equipment or living beings. It can be either way. But in reality, the relationship between a teacher and a student is beyond an emotional attachment. It has a moral, social, and ethical connect and respect. I don't think that will anyway go away, whoever the teacher is. But the only thing teaching profession have to learn, one of the key elements that teaching profession has to learn to be relevant in the AI powered world is being ready to learn the technology. If a teacher learns the technology, that teacher will always be on top. It is exactly like, for example, during the time of Mahabharata, the best teacher is someone who know how to teach you how to use the bow and arrow, how to use the sword, how to fight a good war, how to win the wars, correct? Similarly, a good teacher today is someone who will teach you how to live in the tech world, how to make sure that you are able to survive in the tech world and in the futuristic world, correct? So that's the reality of it. And as I told you, the emotional connect will always be there, irrespective of who's going to teach. But of course, teaching profession, I don't see any way it is going to go out of human hand to AI powered robots anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. I'm
Yeah.
Chidambar Lakshmi of grade 9. Shall we provide quality, affordable education for all students, particularly the economically poor section?
Education is a fundamental right, and every child should get education. And every child's education has to be quality based and affordable. And I will tell you the reason why everyone should get educated in this world. We are driving a knowledge based economy, correct? You know the economy, how economy works? Economy works with consumption. When people consume things, economy grows. If people are not consuming, economy doesn't grow. If there is war around the world, economy will not grow. Correct? Education is the only source, is the only weapon that can actually help every community to grow and thrive. And affordability of education is critical for a country like India to become world's fastest growing economy. Now, one thing which all of us need to understand is, if the education is not there, people don't realize their real challenges in life. If education is not there, people will not see the dream or aspire to become something in life. If education is not there, people will not understand the power of value in life. So it is very, very important that quality education is provided to every child and fueled with right kind of challenges, aspiration and values to build a strong and powerful economy. It's a no debate question. We have to.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hello sir, I am Aratna. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sir, my question is that we are using AI tools for learning. It would be constructive or destructive? Good or bad, sir?
Anything becoming constructive or destructive is in the hands of the people who use it. Correct? The right way of looking at it is basically what happens when it is used constructively and what happens when it's used destructively. Any tool that you have, if you use constructively, the world will embrace you. And over time, your consciousness will help you to realize you are a powerful person and an influential person. Anything that you use destructively, world will soon reject you. You might use that and get money, power in a very, very negative way, but over the time, world dejects those kind of powers. So anything that is not used constructively is not going to stay. What is one of the biggest invention of human? Fire. Fire and wheel. Correct? Fire and wheel transform the world. So once we realize the power of fire, what we use fire to do prayer. In the prayer also we use fire, right? Agni. We pray to fire. To puja we use fire. We use fire for cooking. Correct? And we use fire power during the war. Correct? So the same thing is used constructively and destructively. Similarly, wheels. We use the wheels to transport. Right? Move from one place to other. The same wheel is also used for racing in the road. People use that wheels to drive the vehicle irresponsibly, makes accidents, right? So anything in the world, not just AI, anything that human use today can be used for constructive purpose and destructive purpose. It is the people who will decide. And the people who decide for constructive purpose will thrive, will flourish, they will be recognized. It is hard also sometimes. But the people who use it for destructive purpose might see early success and all. For example, if somebody is driving the car, just imagine like this. Somebody is driving the car every time he drives as per the rule. The chances of him ending up in accident is very less. But at the same time, but he might reach the destination a little later now. If he plans a little ahead, he will reach on time, but he will not be saving that 2 minutes, 3 minutes in his life. But somebody who is driving very, very fast in the road, in a road where supposed to be only 60 km per hour, he's driving at 120 km per hour, causing a lot of trouble for other drivers. He might reach the destination 1 or 2 minutes ahead of the other guy. But there are high chance he will end up in having an accident or some trouble in his life. So always remember that it's using anything that you have wisely.
What are your ideas about multiple intelligence?
See, multiple intelligence is about, I think 7 or 8 area of development of a child. See, these are theories and these have practical relevance in real world. But what one famous thing which I remember about Gardner is basically that Gardner believed that every child has his own capacity and his own potential to become the strongest or the best performer. So there's a concept called high performance in children. What is high performance in children? The book is written by Deborah Ayer. There is a lady called Deborah. She wrote a book called High Performance Learning for Children. Deborah has very clearly said one thing. Every child sitting here have one area of high performance, sometimes multiple areas. It is the duty of parent, teacher and the community to figure out what is that area and help that child to recognize that area. Once the child recognizes that area, the child needs to have determination, perseverance, discipline, hard work to come there. So multiple intelligence is a 8 different area where a child has to be exposed and understand where the child has to get the power from. So that's what the theory behind it. Clear?
Sir, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hello sir, I'm Abhinav sir. Explain me that how social emotion learning is useful sir.
Okay. Social emotional learning is basically understanding. See, there are different basic skill set that human should have to survive or to thrive in the current world. Because current world is about knowledge based economy, right? We are living in a knowledge based society. We call it as industry 4.0. In industry 4.0 there is knowledge, skill, values and objectives. These 4 are very, very critical. Having the right kind of knowledge, which the schools provide you. School provide you the right kind of platform for getting the knowledge. School will also provide you the right kind of opportunity to get the right skills. But if you look at the school gives you a lot of knowledge and also some part of the skill and some part of the values. And the 4th one is not objectives, abilities. And people have to develop the ability to use these knowledge, skill and value in the right direction. Social and emotional learning is about developing that ability. For example, one of the ability the child should have is time management. Correct? Time is a very crucial thing. Every one of us have 24 hours. Some does well and some doesn't do well. Why is that? All of you are taught by the same teacher. So probably the reason for that is how the person manages the time effectively. So time management is a social skill because it has a lot of elements around it. Similarly, one of the emotional skill related with the time is empathy. So you should have empathy to others to manage your time well. A simple example I will tell you. You and your parents have decided to go out for a function. What time you watch the TV every day? How much time? Half an hour. Imagine that half an hour. In that half an hour, your parent is telling you to get ready to go out for a boring function which you don't want to go. Okay? Now, what will you say? You will ask, why do you need to go? And this is my screen time. Correct? It's my right. You have given me the right to watch that screen during that time. Correct? And you are taking off my right. Correct? Now, in this situation, what is the social skill you should know? The social skill that you should know, understanding of your parents. Correct? Now, what is the emotional skill you should have? Control. Controlling your urge to watch. Correct? So you have to practice these 2 skills to overcome the challenge that will create in your face also. For example, my daughter is in 6th grade. So she has a very specified screen time. And she really don't like anything happening during that screen time. Now, sometimes we have to avoid that screen time. So the right way of adjusting that, which I have taught her or she is practicing today, is that, okay, I'm fine to come with you and we will go together. With a happy face, you have to say, is there a possibility I will get another half an hour to watch when we come back? So rather than fighting with the parent or arguing with the parent, do you have the skill set to negotiate with the parent? Is a skill set. That is the part of social and emotional learning. When you do that, you actually learn a skill set of doing that in your workplace in future. Are you getting it? Instead of quarreling. Because in real world, nobody is going to be exactly like your parent. Correct? They are not going to be as listening as it is. So in the real world environment to live, social and emotional skills are very, very critical today. It was more important than before. That is why it has been taught as a subject or as a skill set in the classes. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Good morning, sir. I'm Adarsh from grade 7. I have a query, sir. How will the education system handle traditional subjects with the growing needs of soft skills?
Very powerful question indeed. Give a big round of applause. All traditional subjects are getting transformed. For example, if you look at any traditional subjects, whether it is math, whether it is science, whether it is social, these are the traditional subjects you mean, right? Then, what are the traditional subjects you
Like
mean?
engineering.
Oh, you went to that level. Great. There is a very simple saying. Jobs are neither created nor destroyed. It only takes one form to other form. It's exactly like energy, because you get the money from the energy, right, that you are created. So it's exactly Einstein, right? Einstein's philosophy, right? Einstein. Yeah. Thank you. So the thing is, jobs also similar form. I'm just taking an example of civil engineering. Traditional civil engineer is actually a transformation from the old mason to civil engineer, because he matured on the job. Then it became a skill. It actually started teaching in college and people became civil engineering, because it fast tracked the process, because we needed lot more engineers. So that's how the system has created it. Then automatically, if you look today, the 3D printing, I hope you all have heard about 3D printing, right? Now there are 3D printing coming into the construction industry. So that means tomorrow you and I can sit and draw a building the way we want and give it to a 3D building construction company, and they will come with the 3D equipment and they will make the building and give it to you. Just imagine Apple is working on a project to have a watch that can detect any kind of disease. There are research going on. Just imagine what will happen to doctors. Then just imagine law as a profession. Law is a very prescribed job, right? For example, what is law? That's how lawyers works, right? Imagine AI can actually solve the entire lawyer's job. Can actually kill entire lawyer job. The traditional lawyer job. Now what is needed to survive in that job? How much ever technology grows up, we have to adapt to the change. How will a doctor adapt to an Apple phone going to give you a specific disease diagnosis? Cooperating. One is understanding the power of technology, correct? And using the technology to his advantage, correct? This is the two-way he can do it. How many of you think today AI is writing the movie stories? Still writers are writing, but using AI they were able to write better stories, because with prompting as a technique they have learned. Prompt engineering as a technique. When you learn prompt engineering technique, you will be able to build the stories faster, which means previously you used to write one story a year. Today you can write 10 stories a year. Correct? For a doctor with AI watch coming, instead of spending time on diagnosis, he will be able to fast track the solutioning. Previously he used to spend a lot of time on what? Diagnosis, observation. Today he don't need to do it. Instead of waiting in his clinic for the patient, he can consult the patient while in drive. Sitting in somewhere outside in a vacation house, he can still connect with the patient and consult. He can still give the support to the patient. Lawyers, instead of spending hours and hours on preparing legal document, they can actually interpret the legal document and make sure that the justice is delivered faster. So any tool that comes in, the only skill that, or the most important skill that needs to be learned by everybody is adopting to that skill. So the most important skill for any profession is adopting to that skill. Today in my job, most of my job is on data. I need to look at around 1,200, 1,300 schools in South India. How will I manage 1,300 schools with 365 days? That data, using data. Using data, I can predict, I can say where, in which school, what is happening. But if there is no data, so what skill set I should have? I should have data analytics. I should know how to interpret data, how to predict based on data. So that is a skill set you have. So all the skill set that the people in the future should have should be related to how to interpret the technology, how to use the technology, how to make sure that the technology is being used to empower them rather than thinking it is going to destroy them. Okay? Okay.
Hello sir, I am Jenisha. This session was really amazing and I am so curious to learn more. What is the impact of globalization in our education system, sir?
The globalized world is going to make us travel a lot. It opens more door for us in traveling. It will create some challenges in times, but it's very localized. One of the problem we have, and this is a question I always get when I actually meet people. Why so many bad news? Right? When you open the newspaper, you see bad news, right? Correct? How many of you agree that when I open the newspaper, I only see bad news? And I get disappointed. Correct? But you know what? If you want to share the good news, newspaper is not enough. Yeah, every media is not enough to share the good news happening in the world. There are a lot of good things happening around us. Unfortunately, to capture all the good news and put it in a newspaper, you cannot print a newspaper with 30 pages. It will be much more than that. You all remember the incident that happened in Wayanad recently, right? Correct? Landslide that happened, right? You know, last week, me and my friends decided to collect some money to contribute there. Do you know what they told us from the Wayanad? Don't send us anything. We have enough to live for next 6 months. Imagine how much goodness have been spread across the world. We only see the loss that happened, the people suffering and everything. But in that people suffering, because the world is so globalized, starting from all the countries in the world, things are dumped and poured into the place of Wayanad. And it is so much that people cannot take more. Of course, the pain is real, but you have to understand, 50 years back, if a landslide like this happens, it's not just the people will die in landslide. People would have died out of diseases, people would have died out of hunger, because there is nothing to share. But today that is not the case. That's the power of globalization. So globalization has created a massive connect between humans. Many a times we don't see that positive side. We try to see the negative side of it. So let's not look at the negative side. I personally feel that as children, as a growing population, as a future of the country, we should see the right things in the country and good things happening in the country around you. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. I am Srivadini. My question is, how do you foresee our education system in the following 100 years?
100 years is too much to predict. But I can tell you for next 10 years how things are going to be, little easily. I will tell you from the global context a little bit and then Indian context. In global context, education is going to be more focused on developing 3 areas, basically innovation, sustainability, and global citizenship. These are the 3 areas where the education is going to go in the future, near future. In Indian context, India has a huge gap to cover in terms of many areas. Basically, India has a group which is doing extremely well, and there is a huge group which is doing extremely poor. National education policy and all our policy changes that is coming in is trying to bridge these gaps. So which is going to happen in next 5-10 years. Technology is going to be a huge play in the entire education space. Only technology, no school is not going to exist. Because social element of education is very powerful and school is a very, very important part of education. By the way, most of the people think school is a very new concept. But school is not a new concept. School is a very old concept. Like during the Spartan times, during the community living, when the community living among humans happened, from that moment, learning in group is there. When, if you take India, it was Gurukul system. We hear about Gurukul system quite a lot. It was there long time back. Similarly, in Spartan, it was schools. So school is always there. Universities were existing at the time of olden ages, right? Nalanda, Takshashila, all these universities, higher education was existing. So community in education is going to exist. In 100 years, there will be a lot of transformation. Schools may not be in current form, but schools will be there. A lot of changes will happen, but schools will definitely be there.
So another question is Indian education system facing any challenges?
It's a lot of challenges.
If so, could you please explain those?
Okay, 2-3 challenges which are very, very strong in India. One is foundation literacy and numeracy, we call it. Foundation literacy and numeracy is basically a 5th grader not able to comprehend 2nd grade textbook or mathematics. So that is basically one of the big challenge in India. Second biggest challenge in India is basically affordability of quality education for everyone. Third biggest challenge in India is the shortage of good quality teachers. I'm sure you guys are very lucky to have very good quality teachers in your school, great infrastructure. I think what you should realize is that you have all the best opportunities today, which only 1/10 of the India is getting. So when I worked with a NGO called Deepalaya, I have been to slums and was running some of the learning centers in slums. Teacher quality is not as expected. Second thing is there is no good infrastructure. I still remember in a slum there was a classroom which is actually 5 feet high where I cannot enter. And the teacher have to sit and teach. Because if teacher stands, it will hit on the roof. All the children have to crawl and sit inside. If the child grow above 5 feet, the child doesn't want to come to that class. And in that small room, probably half of the size of this stage, there are 40 children sitting. This is in the center of the city of Delhi, I'm talking about. Their parents build the city. They are migrant workers who come to this city and build. They send their kids to these schools because they get free meal, by the way. Personally feel I am very lucky because my parents also send me to one of the best schools. Your parents also took a very good decision of sending you to one of the best schools in this region. But challenges are massive, and that is one reason why in India all of you have a lot of opportunity also. Wherever there are huge challenges, there are huge opportunities. How can we solve this problem is something which you should think. How can we actually help these children? How can we empower these children? What can we do differently to make sure that their life is also equally or better than our life in the future? Yeah.
Hi, sir. I'm Linna Mary of grade 8. Do you think traditional examination is the effective way of judging the learning?
Okay. Very difficult question to answer because I also currently conduct traditional examinations in schools. Correct? Not the problem with the question. Why traditional exam came into existence is the question. And how are we going to move to a better way of assessment? See, assessment has been one of the most misunderstood concept in the world, according to me. Why we conduct exam?
To know that what we learn in the class.
Okay. Test your test your knowledge. Test the teachers. Okay. Very good. Next. The teacher taught correctly or not. Okay. The way to tell you that the world is not easy. World will test you. And you should be ready for testing. It's only to prepare you to test of the world, real world. That is the purpose of assessment. But unfortunately, what we did with assessment is that we started using assessment as a tool to judge. So assessment is not a tool to judge people. Assessment is a tool to test your own ability to face the world. So if you just change that thinking from testing or judging you to test your way of facing the world, then assessment is a good thing. Traditional assessment, which you mean by pen and paper and question paper, right? Test only one type of skill set. It doesn't check all the kind of skill sets. And once you cracking those exams, most of the exams you will pass. But that doesn't mean that you will be successful in life. Right? Traditional way of assessment will change over time. And those changes will be driven not by the education system, but it will be driven by the industry. For example, today if you look at one of the richest guy, who is Elon Musk. Elon Musk has very clearly said that I don't look at from which college you come. I look at the skills you possess. Google or Microsoft doesn't look at what college you come from. They actually look at your skill sets. But most of the talented people also come from good colleges. That is also another fact. Very rarely you will see the odd one out coming out. Very small number of people come out highly talented outside the systemic college background. So systemic college system is important, at least in your times. You're in grade 8. It's not going to change very fast. But probably the time of your kids, your grandkids, probably we will see a lot of change in the way people get assessed. But till then, I think it is going to be similar. I think a lot of research is going on in this space. One of the best examples is, I don't know how many of you heard about the exam called GMAT. So GMAT is having a very interesting testing format. So GMAT, if you answer a question and if it is wrong, it will give you a simpler question. You answer it, it is again wrong, it will give you a much simpler question. You're wrong, it goes to again simpler question. It goes as per your level. Imagine you made one answer correct. It will give you a better question. It will give you another better question. Another better question. So in future, one way of assessment that will come, which is my prediction, is that it will start understanding children's level with the assessment, exact level where you stand, and then help you to correct your mistakes and do good remedials. So right now it is not there. Everybody gets the same paper. Everybody does the same paper. Over time, assessment will become very individualistic. It will become very much individualistic, and it will help to understand your strength, your weakness, and help you to bridge your focus on your strength more, and help you to come out of your weaknesses.
Sir, I heard an exam like that says asset. So whenever you get the question wrong, it'll also give you how you can solve the question next time, like a similar question, or you can give you much more little more simple, sir.
Okay.
It can get you more levels. It can get you level by level.
I think that's the future of exam, and I think it is already there. Some part of it's already there, but the best form is yet to come. Okay.
How are changing landscape of education in recent days, and how it helpful for future?
Education has opened up a lot of Pandora box in education, actually, in the space of education. One is that influence of technology in education has grown up multifold during the time of COVID, and post-COVID, sudden realization of social importance in education has came up. There is a lot of initiatives that are currently running in terms of building a lot of social connect between students and between community and students. These things are going on. but it doesn't really transform the content in the textbooks in large extent. That is still yet to happen. But I'm sure that with the new policy in India, this is also on the process. And one of the powerful change that I see in education is the understanding that teacher empowerment is very, very important. So now there is a massive drive globally to get more teachers more people into teaching profession and build a good teacher community. And I can see also a lot of youngsters after doing engineering, after doing medicine, want to become teachers. After completing engineering and all, I have a lot of people in my team who are working as teachers. I have one of my team member has resigned from ISRO as a scientist, and he came and become a teacher. So a lot of people have taken up that bold step of becoming a teacher after COVID. That's the biggest change.
Sir, good morning, sir. What is the role of leaders should do in creative and arts education to tech-centric?
See, LEAD is a curriculum company, and we believe in holistic development of the child. And when we say holistic development, physical education, arts is part of that. It is very important to integrate art and sports into regular curriculum, is my belief. By the way, I am a physical education teacher. I did my master's in physical education. I personally love to play sports. That's my entire passion. Even in our curriculum, we have incorporated a lot of elements of arts and creative thinking, creative education as part of it. One of the things which we do majorly is in tech space. We have a product, we have a curriculum for computation and coding. So we see that coding and computation is a future, and that is where the creative of the children also is more exhibited. So that is one area we are working on. We have elements of early yoga, sports in our program in school. So that is other part of it. Definitely we need to focus more, and we will be focusing more in the coming years.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. I am Naresh Balaji. My question is that a lot of leaders are leading personalities in many.
Don't think it's a born mentality. By birth, nobody is getting this. Of course, some people are built with a lot of willpower. See, people say there is an element of genetics to it, but I don't know whether that should be believed or not. You know PV Sindhu, right? Badminton player, right? 2 times Olympic medal winner, silver and bronze. So PV Sindhu have a sister. Do you know that? There's an elder sister for her, and she's a doctor in US. But you all know only PV Sindhu, right? PV Sindhu's parents, how many of you know? They both were international volleyball players. Yeah. Father and mother both played for India. Okay. These news are surprising, right? PV Sindhu's father said one thing. Both the kids got the same opportunity. Both of them were taken early morning to badminton. By the way, PV Sindhu's sister also played badminton, but not to the level of PV Sindhu, but she also played badminton. What happened is, PV Sindhu, normally you don't need to call her to wake up at 4 o'clock to come and play, but her sister wanted to be forced. Over time, how much ever you force, she didn't have the real fire to do that. Instead of that, her fire was to do medicine. Her fire triggered her to focus on studies and do in medicine and excel in that. That doesn't mean her sister is a failure or is not a successful person. She's also a doctor. She's a well-acclaimed doctor, right? PV Sindhu might be a media star, but her sister is also a very big personality in that sense. It's the passion to something drives the people. If you look at most of the people gets into a passion, and at one point they lose it also. Not lose it, passion gets, see, reaching one stage of a career is easier. I'll tell you an example, and this example is very relevant in today's life. You all remember Sachin Tendulkar, right? Have you remembered the player Vinod Kambli? How many of you heard about Vinod Kambli? Okay. Vinod Kambli is considered to be better than Sachin during his school days. He played really well in his initial days of career. But where Vinod Kambli lost? Consistency. See, getting to the national arena and staying at national arena or in a profession is not easier. It doesn't matter to just not to the Vinod Kambli, it's to everybody. For example, tomorrow you become what's your dream to become?
Sir, to do research on physics.
Research in physics.
Yes.
Okay, I will tell you a story about that. So I have a neighbor, his name is Giri. His father is he works in the crush. Father works in crush mill, basically a daily wage laborer. His mother is also a daily wage laborer. He has one brother and a sister. Giri is very fond of my mother because my mother taught him. And Giri was supported by my mother. After I got a job, my mother's second child is Giri. That's how we see. Giri is today 32 years old. He is right now back in India right now. Right now he is on vacation here. Giri he's not a very talented guy, by the way. He's an average student. But very hardworking. Very hardworking in the sense that if somebody work at his level with a little bit more talent, that person can ace anything. Giri is a very, very average student during school days, but he really worked hard in grade 10. He's a Tamil boy, by the way. He crossed 10th with around 80-82%. 12th he scored another same level 80-85%. That is after tremendous work. When I say tremendous work, he studied for almost 8 hours every day. Typical street light boy, because his house doesn't have power at that time. Then he got into a government college for his graduation. He didn't able to cross IIT, JEE, NEET or anything, so he got into government college for physics. He did from government college. Then when it came to masters, he got in NIT Trichy. See, from government college he went to NIT Trichy. After his masters in NIT Trichy, he got into IISc, Indian Institute of Science, for physics research. When he was doing that, he got a call from one of he is doing his research in quantum physics. Then the professor there helped him to apply to a German university, and the German university rejected him. Then he tried again and he got University of London, better than that German university. He did his PhD from there. And today he is teaching in University of Leicester in UK. And he is not stopping there. He is still conducting his research. He is soon going to be, he is some kind of a physicist in the world, some rank world physicist exam he passed, and he is in some other bigger position now. What I'm trying to say is that look at his ladder of growth. From very humble beginning, he got into government college, then he went to NIT, from to IISc, then University of London. You look at the journey. What do we learn from this journey? The learn from this journey is very simple. Gradual growth with consistency. So it's not the talent that matters. It is the effort you put day by day to that same thing every day. You will reach there. I do a small exercise with my daughter and I will close that. So I have a very small exercise with my daughter. And I recommend all of you to start this exercise in your house. I am doing this with her from last 2 years. every week she is supposed to write a 2000 word article about a topic in the magazine that comes in Indian Express. The reason why she is doing it, and initially it used to be very difficult for her to do it, and initially we started with 500 words a week. Now she is doing 2000 words. You have to understand, in last 2 years how many articles she would have written. 48 weeks, 48 into 2, 96. Take 100 weeks, 100 into 2000, 2 lakh words. It's equal to how many books? One book is 50,000, 4 books. I don't think her peer group is doing it. Most of her peer group is not doing it. By doing it consistently, her writing skill is today at a very good level. She's doing better than me in writing. I know that because I am not doing that exercise. But she don't need to study hard for exams, because before the teacher teaches the concept itself, since she has a good writing skill, she already learns it fast. Over time, this became a habit. So every week there is only one question I ask her: did you write your article? And every day she has to write 5 news from newspaper. See, this is the simple thing you should practice. It will take hardly 30 minutes of your time. But if you do that continuously for 30 minutes every day, you will be every day 30 minutes ahead of your friends. In a year, 180 hours, imagine 10 years you do it. 1800 hours ahead of your friends. Now instead of half an hour you invest 1 hour. You are 3600 hours ahead of your friends. You are right now 13. By the age of 23, look out the compounding interest of what you get. So build a practice. It can be anything. Speaking, it can be writing, it can be playing. Do half an hour or 1 hour extra to your friends, or 1 hour extra to what is asked you. There is a simple rule of winning Olympic medal. Simple math is 8 hours, 8 years. 8 hours of practice, 8 years of time. Every day you will win an Olympic medal. 8 hours of practice, 2 years of time, you will crack UPSC. 8 hours of practice, 1 year time, you will crack IIT JEE. 8 hours of practice, 3 months time, you will clear CAT or GMAT. So you have to understand that this is the basic principle mantra people follow to crack exams, win medals, win big stages. So consistency is the most important thing, and you should do it when you feel you don't want to do it. That is the strength. So every day you might not get the strength to do that half an hour writing, but when you don't have the strength, take a pen, sit and write. It's not just when I like it, I will do it. So then you will reach there. So sometimes parents have to be strict. I'm a little strict parent in this couple of things. Result will come in next 10 years. We will see that time. That's how I tell my daughter also. You will see the result of this in 10 years time. Because 10 years investment is required for these things. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
இனி சர்வதேச கல்வி சாமானியர்களுக்கு. Kalvi Group of Schools,